Hello, friends! I am so excited to tell you that we have a request from a new commenter. HW has asked that I tell Frau Trude, which, in my book, translated to Mother Trudy. I also thought I would read a more well-known tale, Little Red Riding Hood. So I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and I found it, listed under Little Red Cap. Which is funny, because I know that red caps are malevolent, murderous fae found at the sites of battles and known for the caps they wear that are blood red, and that might actually be bloody. Seriously not nice creatures, best to be avoided. Although, now I kind of want to read that story. Anyway, that does bring up a point I wanted to make. Both of these tales are meant to terrify children into obedience. The point of both of them is, do as I say, or you will die in a horrible and painful way. So, we have put up the discretion warning. Other than that, I hope you enjoy them. Here we go with Mother Trudy for HW. Once upon a time. So many good starts. Please let it also have the end. There was a little girl who was stubborn and curious, and whenever her parents told her to do something, she would not obey them. Well, how could things possibly go well for her? That sounds like an ominous beginning. One day she said to her parents, "I've heard so much about Mother Trudy that I'd like to see her someday. People say that there are unusual things about her house, and there are also strange things inside. All that's made me very curious." This seems like a bad move. You know, like owning a possessed doll, or saying Bloody Mary into a mirror, or not moving when the house says, "Get out!" However, her parents gave her strict instructions not to go near the house. Mother Trudy is an evil woman, they said. Well, that's a rude thing to say about your neighbor. Maybe she's just, misunderstood, or lonely, or, in a Home Alone movie. I've been moved by the cameraman! How much do I need to redo?
Just leave it in.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Hey, no one noticed that. Okay. What was it? Oh, Home Alone movie. As in, you'll just... Oh, wait, I skipped some things. Back to the Home Alone movie. Mother Trudy is an evil woman that is a new thing. Here we go. She does wicked things, and if you go to her, you'll no longer be our child. As in, you'll disown her, or as in, Mother Trudy will eat you? I mean, I need a more specific warning, please. But the girl did not pay any attention to her parents' instructions and went to Mother Trudy's home all the same. When she got there, Mother Trudy asked, "Why are you so pale?" Did I miss something? Was there some description I was supposed to read? I feel like maybe we missed something here. "Oh," she answered, trembling all over, "I am so terrified by what I have just seen." "What have you seen?" "I saw a black man on your stairs." "Okay, that is racial profiling, and we don't stand for that here, mister." "That was a charcoal burner." "Then I saw a green man." "Okay, that is space alien profiling, and we don't stand for that here, mister." "That was a huntsman." "After that, I saw a blood red man." "Okay, that's serial killer profiling, and we don't stand..." Oh, sorry, I kind of got on a roll. We're okay with profiling serial killers. You know what? I'm just going to keep reading. "That was the butcher." See, perfectly reasonable explanations all. "Oh, Mother Trudy, I was so petrified. I looked through the window and I didn't see you, but I saw the devil with a fiery head. I bet you don't look so good before your morning coffee either, girlie." "Oh ho," she said, "then you have seen the witch in her proper dress. I've been wanting you here and waiting for a long time. Now you shall provide me with light." Then she changed the girl into a block of wood and threw it into the fire. And when the wood was blazing, she sat down near to it, warmed herself, and said, "That really does give off a bright light." So as in, Mother Trudy will turn you into a stubborn, curious block of wood and throw you into the fire. That sort of warning. Got it. Oh well, I guess you can't say this story turned dark. Sorry. Onward we stumble to Little Red Cap, better known as Little Red Riding Hood. But, we're reading these as we find them. Brick's Journey, this is for you. Once upon a time. Ah, such a good start to a story, but I've been let down so many times before. There was a sweet little maiden. Whoever laid eyes upon her could not help but love her. But it was her grandmother who loved her the most. She could never give the child enough. One time she made her a present, a small red velvet cap, and since it was so becoming, the maiden insisted on always wearing it. She was called Little Red Cap. One day her mother said to her, "Come, Little Red Cap, take this piece of cake and a bottle of wine and bring them to your grandmother." Just wine and cake? Huh, future versions are more generous. They have a whole basket rather than, just wine and cake. Come to think of it, she gets to wear a whole riding hood rather than just a cap. Maybe it would be better to send her some Tylenol. She's sick and weak, and this will strengthen her. I think chicken soup might have been a better idea. Get an early start before it becomes hot, and when you're out in the woods, be nice and good and don't stray from the path. Otherwise, you'll fall and break the glass and your grandmother will get nothing. I think it would have been good to say, or you'll fall and you might hurt yourself, but, no, I guess save the wine. Anyway, when you enter her room, don't forget to say good morning and don't go peeping in all the corners. I'm not sure how I feel about Mother's instructions. I'll do just as you say, Little Red Cap promised her mother. Well, the grandmother lived out in the forest, half an hour from the village. Oh, did you know most humans can walk 1 mile in about 15 minutes? So by this math, grandmother lives 2 miles outside of town. Just a fun fact. And as soon as Little Red Cap entered the forest, she encountered the wolf. Dun, dun, dun! However, Little Red Cap did not know what a wicked sort of animal the wolf was. "Okay, that's specious, and we don't stand for that sort of thing around here," and was not afraid of him. "Good day, Little Red Cap," he said. Was she wearing a name tag? "Thank you kindly, Wolf." "Where are you going so early, Little Red Cap?" "To grandmother's." "What are you carrying under your apron?" Well, now I see why we changed it to a basket of goodies. "Cake and wine. My grandmother's sick and weak, and yesterday we baked this, so it will help her get well," she said to the predator. "Where does your grandmother live, Little Red Cap?" "Another quarter of an hour from here in the forest. Her house is under the 3 big oak trees. You can tell it by the hazel bushes," said Little Red Cap. Goodness, why don't you just draw him a map and give him her internet password for good measure? The wolf thought to himself, "This tender young thing is a juicy morsel. She'll taste even better than the old woman. You've got to be real crafty if you want to catch them both." Then he walked next to Little Red Cap, and after a while he said, "Little Red Cap, just look at the beautiful flowers that are growing all around you. Why don't you look around? I believe you haven't even noticed how lovely the birds are singing. You march along as if you were going straight to school, and yet it's so delightful out here in the woods." "Into the woods!" Oh, sorry, that's kind of a reflex now. Little Red Cap looked around and saw how the rays of the sun were dancing through the trees back and forth, and how the woods were full of beautiful flowers. So she thought to herself, "If I bring grandmother a bunch of fresh flowers, she'd certainly like that. It's still early, and I'll arrive on time." So she ran off the path and plunged into the woods. Yes, into the woods! Oh, did it again, sorry. To look for flowers. And each time she plucked one, she thought she saw another even prettier flower, ran after it, going deeper and deeper into the forest. But the wolf went straight to the grandmother's house and knocked on the door. "Who's out there?" "Little Red Cap, I've brought you some cake and wine. Open up." I wonder if he ate some chalk first. "Just lift the latch," the grandmother called. "I'm too weak and can't get up." "Ha! Why don't you just call out, 'Victim here! Victim here!'" The wolf lifted the latch and the door sprang open. Then he went straight to the grandmother's bed without saying a word and gobbled her up. Next, he put on her clothes and her nightcap. You can get in trouble for that in Tennessee. Lay down in her bed and drew the curtains. Meanwhile, Little Redcap had been running around and looking for flowers. Only when she had as many as she could carry did she remember her grandmother and continue on the way to her house again. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house. Oh, sorry, I guess this is just a musical episode. Into the woods! Sorry. She was puzzled when she found the door open, and as she entered the room, it seemed so strange inside that she thought, oh, how frightened I feel today, and usually I like to be at grandmother's. She called out, good morning, but she received no answer. Next, she went to the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmother with her cap pulled down over her face, giving her a strange appearance. Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have! Rude. The better to hear you with. Oh, grandmother, what big hands you have! And you don't notice their paws? How dark is it in that house? The better to grab you with. Grab? And this doesn't tip the little girl to the danger? Oh, grandmother, what a terribly big mouth you have! Also rude. The better to eat you with. No sooner did the wolf say that than he jumped out of bed and gobbled up poor Little Redcap. After the wolf had satisfied his desires, forewarning, he lay down in the bed again, fell asleep, and began to snore very loudly. Must not say inappropriate joke. The huntsman happened to be passing by the house and thought to himself, the way the old woman's snoring, you better see if anything's wrong. He went into the room, and when he came to the bed, he saw the wolf lying in it. So, I've found you at last, you old sinner, said the huntsman. I've been looking for you for a long time. He took aim with his gun, and then it occurred to him that the wolf could have eaten the grandmother, and that she could still be saved. Do all wolves not chew their food? So he did not shoot, but took some scissors and started cutting open the sleeping wolf's belly. And do they all sleep like the dead? After he made a couple of cuts, he saw the Little Redcap shining forth, and after he made a few more cuts, the little girl jumped out and exclaimed, oh, how frightened I was! It was so dark in the wolf's body, and I am amazed and know not what to say. Soon the grandmother came out. She was alive, but could hardly breathe. Little Redcap quickly fetched some large stones, and they filled the wolf's body with them. When he awoke, wolves are certainly made of some very stern stuff in fairy tales, and tried to run away, the stones were too heavy, so he fell down at once and died. Yes, I completely believe he died. All three were delighted. The huntsman skinned the fur from the wolf and went home with it, and apparently just left a naked corpse for Granny to deal with. Gee, thanks. The grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine that Little Redcap had brought, and soon she regained her health. Clearly it was magic cake and a health potion wine. Meanwhile, Little Redcap thought to herself, never again will you stray from the path by yourself and go into the forest where Mother has forbidden it. There is also another tale about how Little Redcap returned to her grandmother one day to bring her some baked goods. Another wolf spoke to her and tried to entice her to leave the path, but this time Little Redcap was on her guard. Well, I should hope so. Fool me once and all that. She went straight ahead and told her grandmother that she had seen a wolf, that he had wished her good day, but that he had such a mean look in his eyes that he would have eaten me up if we hadn't been on the open road. Come, said her grandmother, we'll lock the door so he can't get in. Soon after, the wolf knocked and cried out, open up, grandmother, it's Little Redcap and I've brought you some baked goods. You know, that's far less effective when Little Red is sitting right next to grandmother. But they kept quiet and did not open the door. So Greyhead circled the house several times and finally jumped on the roof. He wanted to wait till evening when Little Redcap would go home. I guess huffing and puffing was too much for old Greyhead. He intended to sneak after her and eat her up in the darkness, but the grandmother realized what he had in mind. In front of the house was a big stone trough, and she said to the child, "Fetch the bucket, Little Red Cap. I cooked sausages yesterday. Get the water they were boiled in and pour it into the trough." Little Red Cap kept carrying water until she had filled the big trough. How many sausages did Grandmother make? Because that is a lot of water. The smell of sausages reached the nose of the wolf. He sniffed and looked down. Finally, he stretched his neck so far that he fell right into the trough and drowned. Then Little Red Cap went merrily on her way home, and no one harmed her. I would like to say that no animals were harmed in the making of this video. Well, there we are. 2 more stories and not a single the end. What have we learned today, friends? We have learned that German children in the 1800s were traumatized by their parents as a form of entertainment. Sounds like fun. Well, HW and Brick's Journey, I hope you're happy, because I am clearly never sleeping again. Now I lay me down to sleep, or more realistically, now I lay me down to stare at the ceiling and wait for the wolf to come knocking. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe. Hitting the notification bell will let you know when I post a new video. I am really trying to beat the evil algorithm so that I can tell my stories to more people. So please help my tiny channel grow. And I always look forward to your comments. As you know, if you want, you can support me on Patreon. There's a link in the description below. There you can watch bloopers, see original art, and pictures of dogs. Well, specifically Tiger and Rosie. Now for a special thank you to my wonderful Patreon supporters. My dear Patreon supporters, Robinson, Ida, Darren, Teresa, Brick's Journey, Karen, and now William. I would like to thank all 7 of you. 7 supporters. The same as the age of Snow White when the dwarf sold her tiny corpse to a strange prince to be his bride. Still, even though the number 7 will always haunt me, I appreciate you so much. I raise my glass to you.